Alright, what up guys? It's me. Welcome to another video. So this one's going to be a little bit different. It's still dealing with Unity, but this was a connection that I made between one of my classes I took and Unity. So in data structures, there's a structure called a hash map, which essentially pairs keys with values. So if we look at it, as you can see, we have different values. So if this is, key 1 is mapped to Java. So let's say we have a hash map of integers as the keys and strings as the values. 1 would correlate to Java. 2 would correlate to C++, 3 would correlate to Python, and 4 would correlate to Ruby. Now these are all programming languages, and this is in Java. However, in C# for Unity, there is a very, very similar thing. So as I was going through data structures and as I'm advancing in game development, I realized that there are ways that you can create leaderboards. You can sync them with Google, so Google will do it for you if you sign in with Google Play Games. And there's so many things to do with that. Apple has it as well. But sometimes there's something nice if you don't need to sync things with Google or with Apple or any other game platform, to being able to do something on your own, make your own leaderboard. So that's sort of what I did. So we're going to head over to Unity. Now, just a little bit of a setup here. Here is the simulator. I'm going to make it a good bit bigger with the leaderboard. So as you can see, it's like a... Actually, it might make it easier if I went to the camera and made it a little bit lighter. So you can see the heading for leaderboard, and you can see this space over here is where the leaderboard is actually going to be. And then down here, I have an enter text. What that enter text does is it allows me to enter a string. And then I have a timer that, in theory, you could use for leaderboards for time. So if I run this, you'll see nothing, nothing. I can type test at 2.23. Let me type YouTube, and if I enter that, it's 8.13. Twitch is 13.39, and that's how many seconds it's been since I clicked the play button. Now I'm going to hit pause, just so that it doesn't get too crazy. But this could very easily be a leaderboard. You could have a leaderboard for a game where you're racing to beat the clock on something, or see how fast you can do something. And you could have this. Now, it would also be fairly easy to do this and just have the text that's being entered have the time on it. I get that I didn't build out a full game that could be played. However, this could theoretically work for, you could have scores, you could have times, and then what Test, YouTube, and Twitch are could be player names. So having shown you guys that, I want to walk over now to the script. So just to get the update function out of the way, the only thing this is doing is tracking the time from when I click play to when on enter is called. And the only thing that's happening in the start is that I'm taking the input field and adding a listener for on enter that that runs this function right here, which I will walk through last. The variables I created were just the simple variables for the input. I had a sample text so that I knew what to instantiate. And I also had a parent, which is this container object over here. Now you guys might be wondering what this does. What this actually does is I have a vertical layout group on it, which means that I can take however many objects, I guess is the right word, and I can throw them into this vertical layout group, and it will lay them out vertically for me. It will do it for me. I don't need to worry about adding positions. And yeah. So that's why I have the parent. And then this is the big thing here. So it's called a hash map in Java, but it's called a dictionary in C#. And I have string and float. So string is the key, float is the value. I could see this, again, if you're looking at like leaderboards for timing. I guess I could have put it with player 1, player 2, player 3. But again, the string is the player name or username. The float is the time, or you could have an int for the score, or for amount of coins. There are different ways to do this, and so many applications for this. But going through the on enter, this part basically just clears. All it does is clear the children out of the parent. So every time I hit enter with a new word, so here, I accidentally restarted without meaning to. So I'll do player 1, player 2, player 3. And now if you pause, you can see that basically every time I hit enter and every time I put a new player in, it got rid of the sample text. Now, what the next thing I did was I added the final text, which is the string, so in this case player 1, player 2, player 3, as the key, and then the time as the value into the map. The next thing I did was simply run another for each, but it got the key value pair for it got the key value pair out of the map. So it got the pair of string and float out of the map, and for each of those, it's creating a new text object. In theory, there are better ways to do this where you have, the pair of, where you have the pair, and you could create a separate class for the pair, and there are more time-efficient ways to do it. This, however, happened to work, and it was just a really quick proof of concept that I wanted to share with you guys because I thought it was actually a pretty cool a pretty cool concept that could be applied to a lot of things. I'm just learning about this. I'm sure I'm not the first to learn about it, but I thought it would be cool, and I need content to upload to you guys, so here we are. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. If not, don't do anything bad. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.